Good morning. We are going to start with our new topic, that is theory of gravimetric analysis. In the last week, we have finished our paper number 9, that is inorganic chemistry, which constitutes in all 5 topics. Elaborately, we have studied. Today or tomorrow, I will send the notes of the topic. I am giving one job to you all, that you have to prepare the notes of the last topic that we have finished earlier, that is acids, bases, and non-aqueous solvents. So, by referring the books, you have to prepare the notes of this topic, that is known as acids, bases, and non-aqueous solvents. And the topic that we have already finished is organometallic chemistry. I will send the notes of this topic today or tomorrow. So that will enable you for the thorough study of this topic. I am particularly giving the topic acid bases and non-aqueous solvents for the notes to be drawn by you all, because you have to go thoroughly some 2 to 3 books, so that it is very easy for the clear understanding of the topic. Hence, I am giving a very small work to you all. Today, we are going to start with a new topic, that is theory of gravimetric analysis. This topic is included under analytical chemistry, paper number 12. The paper itself includes in all 5 to 6 different topics, from organic analytical chemistry, inorganic analytical chemistry, and industrial analytical chemistry. So the topic comprises of all the analytical techniques from these branches of chemistry, that is organic, inorganic, and analytical chemistry, including some part of industrial chemistry also. But more study that is expected in the 6th semester with regard to the industrial chemistry. So the topic that we are going to study today, that topic, some practical knowledge you have got already at your BSc 2 level, because the topic itself tells us that we are going to study the theoretical part of gravimetric analysis, or theory of gravimetric analysis. Perhaps you might be remembering that during your BSc 2 level, you have conducted some 2 practicals on gravimetric estimation of barium and iron, where you have carried out the practical by following the systematic procedure that is given in the practical book. You are very well aware with the practical knowledge of this topic. Today we are going to study the theoretical aspects of gravimetric analysis. I would like to give much more emphasis on the theoretical principles which are involved in this topic. The topic itself deals with certain points. That is, first of all, we are going to study some introductory part with regard to this topic. Secondly, we are going to study some important terminologies which are coming across while studying this topic. Then we are going to study the process of precipitation, the nucleation, crystal growth, digestion, the optimum conditions for effective precipitation, physical nature of the precipitate, co-precipitation, post-precipitation, and the role of organic precipitants in this analytical chemistry. There are so many organic precipitants. Perhaps you might be knowing certain names. That is, we are using urbanic acid for copper, We are also using magnesium reagent for magnesium. Then we are using potassium ferrocyanide, alumina, aluminum, aluminum S. All these organic reagents, they find extensive applications in analytical chemistry. But our study is restricted only to the detailed study of the role of organic precipitants in analytical chemistry, that is a DMG, what we call as a dimethylcloxine, which is a selective precipitating reagent for nickel, which gives rose red colored precipitate, and another organic reagent that is named as 8-hydroxyphenolene, which is also called as oxime, which is also a selective precipitating reagent for aluminum. So this part that we are going to cover while studying this topic, while studying the topic that is named as the theory of gravimetric analysis. The gravimetric analysis or gravimetry is the word itself comprises of two words, gravi and metry. The word gravi means weight and metry means to measure. In brief, we can define gravimetric analysis is a technique of analysis where we are concerned with the weight measurement or the analysis that is carried out by carrying out the weight measurement. This analysis is commonly referred as gravimetric analysis. So gravi means weight and metry means measurement. So this is the exact meaning of the gravimetric. While studying the introductory part, we have to give some ideas, we have to study certain ideas with regard to the qualitative and quantitative type of analysis. With regard to this, I would like to tell you all that as we are aware that chemistry is a science basically concerned with the integrated study of the precipitation properties, preparation properties, the structure and the reactions of the elements and their compounds of the system which they form. So, chemistry is a study of this preparation, then properties, structure, and the reactions of all these elements. Analytical chemistry is the most important branch of chemistry, as old as chemistry itself, because there is a vast study that is going on since the early days. So, analytical chemistry also finds its extensive application with regard to the chemistry. The prime object or the main object of analytical chemistry is to establish the chemical composition of a matter. In analytical procedure, as we know, first qualitative composition of the substance is to be studied. So, in analytical techniques, first of all, the qualitative composition of the substance is determined. This is then followed by the determination of the quantitative composition of the matter. I have referred two words here, that is the qualitative and the quantitative. The qualitative analysis of a substance that refers to the quality of the substance. For example, you have carried out certain experiments in organic chemistry as organic spotting. With regard to organic spotting, while carrying out such experiments, you have carried out the usual procedure so as to find out the exact name of organic solid or the liquid. Here, the elements which are present that we have analyzed, what is a functional group that we have analyzed, what is a physical constant, whether it is a melting point or the boiling point. All these parameters, they commonly referred as the quality of the chemical analysis, and hence such analysis is known as a qualitative technique of analysis. With regard to the second technique, known as the quantitative analysis technique, where we are concerned with the weight and volume of the analyte, or the weight or the volume of the substance under analysis. So when a particular analysis that is carried out by determining the quantity of a substance, or the weight or the volume of the analyte or the substances under analysis, such technique where we are concerned with the weight or the volume, that means the quantity of the substance, all such analysis is known as the quantitative type of analysis. I am going to tell you in due course of time what is this quantitative analysis in more details. Now, the identification of the substance and the elucidation of the structure and the quantitative analysis of a composition are the main aspects of the modern analytical techniques, as I have discussed just now. Now, the chemical analysis that we conduct in laboratory has turned to be essential in all branches of science and technology. The role of analytical chemistry is noteworthy here because the fundamental as well as the applied sciences or the applied chemistry that is studied in analytical chemistry. The chemical analysis has become an essential for the discovery and the developments in various fields such as the fertilizers, where it can find more applications, that is with regard to analytical chemistry, insecticides, without which nowadays the food giving plants will not survive, the medicines, metallurgy, photochemical, sorry, the petrochemical industries and the pharmaceutical industries, etc. They are concerned with this analytical chemistry. The analytical chemistry is of enormous importance nowadays because in all branches this analytical chemistry has spread, and now it becomes a basic tool for the science and technology. In short, analytical chemistry has a key position to elevate the growth of science and technology, as we know, because without analysis of any substance, the scientists or researchers may not proceed further, and the development in science and technology that we see today is again the fruits of this development of science and technology, which is indirectly on account of the study of analytical chemistry. Now, the analytical chemistry has its main objective to establish the chemical composition of the matter. The composition of matter may be decided by the quality and the quantity of the matter. So, in brief, analytical chemistry concerns with the qualitative and quantitative analysis of the substance under analysis. Accordingly, we have two types of analysis, namely qualitative analysis and the quantitative analysis. Again, I am going more emphasis on the qualitative and quantitative type of analysis techniques. These two techniques may be performed by weighing and by qualitative determination of the substance under analysis. Thus, we can have two pathways for elucidation. Elucidation means determination. Two pathways of elucidation of quantitative composition of matter, namely the gravimetric analysis and the volumetric analysis techniques. What is the volumetric analysis technique? It is very simple technique that we are performing in our laboratory, because while during the titration, we normally Take the titrant in the burette and the analyte solution in a conical flask, and by using a suitable indicator responding to the titration, we carry out the titration, and at the end point, a drastic change in color that enables us that the reaction between the titrant and the titrant has come to an end, and this is shown by a drastic change in color at the end point. So, by knowing the volume that is required to change the color from initial color to the end point color, by knowing this volume, one can determine the uh, unknown substance, the quantity of the unknown substance that is present in the analyte. So, we are using the CBR, what we call as constant burette reading. So, this technique where we have used the volume to determine the quantity of the reactant substance under analysis. All such techniques are again grouped under the quantitative analysis technique. For example, suppose if you are given a solution of the chloride ion, for example, HCl solution is given where chloride ions are present. Now, if we want to determine the exact amount of chloride ions that is reacting, then what we carry out? First technique, that is known as a volumetric determination, which comes under again quantitative analysis technique, where if we add enough amount of silver nitrate solution, then HCl plus AgNO3, as we know, it gives AgCl, that is a curdy white precipitate of silver chloride is obtained. Now, while during this type of analysis, the quantity of silver nitrate that is used for the quantitative precipitation of chloride ion, from this volume we can determine what is the quantity of chloride ions that is present under analysis. So, by knowing the volume for the complete precipitation of chloride ions, we can determine the quantity of chloride ions. This technique is known as the volumetric type of analysis. Another technique that is used is a gravimetric type of analysis, where again we are concerned with the quantity, that means in terms of a weight. Alternatively, the same estimation can be performed by adding excess silver nitrate to the acidified solution of chloride ions. Chloride is precipitated quantitatively, and after complete precipitation, a insoluble silver chloride, that is AgCl, is formed. So, by getting the mass or by getting the weight of the resulting precipitate, that is silver chloride, the amount of chloride ions in the given sample can be calculated. This is known as the gravimetric method of analysis. So we have used two techniques under the analytical chemistry, that is the quantitative analysis, where two techniques, that is a volumetric analysis and the gravimetric analysis. So during volumetric analysis, the quantity of silver nitrate that is exactly used to complete the precipitation of chloride ions, and by knowing this quantity or the volume of silver nitrate, we can determine the quantity of chloride ions. Similarly, in the second technique, which is again quantitative technique, that is known as a gravimetric analysis, where a known excess amount of the silver nitrate solution is added for getting complete quantitative precipitation of AgCl. After getting complete quantitative precipitation, the precipitate thus obtained, this precipitate is to be again weighed, dried, and by using this particular technique, one can determine the exact quantity of the substance under analysis. So this is how under quantitative analysis type of technique, we have considered two important techniques, that is a volumetric analysis and the gravimetric type of analysis. So both these techniques are grouped under the quantitative analysis technique, where we have used the quantity in terms of a volume or in terms of a mass, that is a weight of the precipitate thus obtained. You might also be knowing that during the gravimetric analysis technique last year, that a white colored precipitate of barium sulfate that was obtained, which is in crystalline form. So you have determined the weight of this barium sulfate at the end by igniting the precipitate in a suitable crucible. So this is a gravimetric analysis technique. I am going to give much more details during this topic also. Now, if we switch over to the next aspect of this topic, that is, in the beginning I have told you that during the study of this topic we will come across certain important terminologies. Without the knowledge of these terminologies, it is rather impossible for the clear understanding of the topic. These terminologies you are very well familiar, but the exact definitions are rather unknown to you. So, I'm going to give you some 8 to 9 important terminologies under this topic. So, while this study of the topic, I am leisurely using all these terminologies. The first terminology, that is known as a gravimetry. In the beginning of this topic, already I have given the definition of this gravimetry. That means when a particular analysis that is carried out by using the weight or the mass of the substance under analysis is known as a gravimetric, or the analysis that is carried out by weighing is known as a gravimetry. So gravimetry can be defined in simpler terms as it is a quantitative analysis. You should use first word, that is, it is a quantitative analysis based on the measurement of the mass or the measurement of a weight of a substance, or it is quantitative estimation by weighing is known as gravimetric analysis, or gravimetry is nothing but it is a quantitative analysis technique based on the measurement of mass or the weight of a substance, or the procedure that we follow during the analysis by weighing the substance is also known as a gravimetry. So this is the first terminology. Now, the second terminology, that is known as precipitation. Now, the precipitation technique, you have carried out this particular technique also, but we are rather unaware the exact definition of this precipitation. For example, just now I have given you one example, that suppose if you are given a solution of hydrochloric acid, that is HCl, to this solution, if we add silver nitrate solution, that is AgNO3, naturally, when AgNO3 is added to HCl solution, Ag ions form a precipitate with chloride ion from the solution so as to form a curdy white precipitate of AgCl. So this is known as a precipitation. So precipitation can be defined as a chemical process causing the separation of insoluble solid from the solution. It is a process of causing separation of insoluble solid from the solution. What is the insoluble solid? Formation of AgCl by adding AgNO3 to the solution of HCl is nothing but the formation of an insoluble solid. Insoluble solid is AgCl. So the formation of insoluble solid, that is silver chloride, is nothing but it is a process of precipitation. So it is a chemical process causing separation of the insoluble solid from the solution is known as the precipitation. So it is exact the process. Precipitation means it is a process of separation of the solid. Then the third terminology that is known as the precipitant. Precipitant, this word is also familiar with you, but the exact definition is that it is a substance. Precipitant is nothing but it is a substance or it is a chemical reagent inducing or enhancing the process of precipitation. What is a precipitant? It is a reagent or it is a chemical reagent which induces or enhances or increases the process of precipitation. For example, just now I have given you one example of HCl plus AgNO3. When the exact precipitation take place by adding silver nitrate solution to the solution of HCl, then and then precipitation starts. So, due to addition of silver nitrate solution, as the precipitation takes place, hence silver nitrate is known as precipitating agent or precipitant. So, AgNO3, because of addition of which, as the precipitation is induced or the precipitation is enhanced, this is known as precipitating reagent or precipitant. So, it is a reagent which induces the process of precipitation. The fourth terminology is known as a precipitate. We know this precipitate. So, when HCl reacts with AgNO3, the precipitate of AgCl is formed. This is known as the precipitate. So, in simpler terms, we can define precipitate is nothing but it is a solid. It is a solid separated from the solution by the process of precipitation is known as a precipitate. It is a solid separated from the solution by the process of precipitation from the solution is known as a precipitate. So HCl plus AgNO3 which gives AgCl, AgCl is known as a precipitate which is formed on account of adding AgNO3 solution to the solution of HCl. So when this solid is separated, this is known as a precipitate. So the solid that is separated from the solution by the process of precipitation is known as the precipitate. Then the fifth terminology is nothing but ignition. You might be remembering that in our laboratory we have kept one ignition unit where you have kept your crucible, that is silica crucible, inside this unit which is almost red hot, having the temperature of about 700 to 800 degrees centigrade. So by using this technique, the precipitate is incinerated or it is ignited. This procedure is known as the ignition, and because of this exact constant mass of the substance under analysis that is obtained, this process is known as ignition. So ignition is nothing but where we have conducted this ignition technique, that is procedure that is conducted at a very high temperature. That means the process when we carry out at very high temperature, it is known as a thermal decomposition, which is applied only when the obtained precipitate is thermally stable. That means by applying enough amount of heat or the temperature, the precipitate remains stable. So ignition is nothing but the thermal decomposition of a substance to get a constant mass of the precipitate is known as the ignition. So it is a process of thermal decomposition of a substance to get a constant mass of the analyte is known as the ignition. So only 1 minute is left. So again you have to click the same link and you have to rejoin after 2 minutes. So I'm going to conclude this meeting. You have to rejoin after 2 minutes.